I have a lot of warm memories of convention screening rooms at Transformers conventions where you'd sit down with some pals, maybe you got a little bit of tipsy in you and you'd watch old G1 episodes on a projector screen or something. You kind of have a laugh, maybe see one you haven't seen before. Anyway, I bought a ticket to the Transformers 40th anniversary cinema event here in Toronto. It was showing in my area at the... I had to go to the Young Dundas Cineplex, and I had scene points, so I didn't have to spend human money on this, and that's good. Anyway, I got there, sat down at my assigned seat. It was not, packed, but it wasn't empty. It was a fairly decent crowd, filled out the middle, as a theater would hope, and had 15 minutes of Cineplex commercials, and old ones, I feel like the old Borderlands film one for that film that still says it doesn't have a date or something. Anyway, it was really boring. And then the show started proper, and BMAC and someone I can't remember appeared in the Pulse live stream set, and they said, welcome. Anyway, we just want to tell you, in case you don't know, that we still make toys. So here's what Legacy Generations is, and here's what Studio Series is. After you see this, consider buying some toys. And then, after all those commercials and this little preamble, then I got to see a bewildering cavalcade of more commercials, and these were there was a kids one for the Earthspark, spinny combiners, the flippy combiners with the kids. There was something for RoboSen, and it didn't say what RoboSen was. It didn't really communicate anything. It was a really short, very confusing promo if you don't already know what RoboSen pieces are. There was something for Beyblade, the thing from the Pulse stream they just had. They played that commercial again, which really confused some people in the audience. There was a commercial for Pulse. There was a commercial for the Amazon store that Hasbro has, if I remember right, that said something like, "Parents, go here." So a lot of, really mixed messaging of, welcome to the 40th celebration. Anyway, also, in case some of you never have looked at Transformers for 39 years, let's tell you what's up. And then we go into the Earthspark 90-second clip, which, out of context, for Earthspark Season 2, this is out of context, and it featured a bunch of Terrans and people talking about the Ember Shard, and referring to the finale of Season 1. And it seemed, again, like that would be really, really confusing to watch. I thought it looked fine myself, but it seemed really confusing, a thing to present to someone who might not know what Earthspark... Nothing actually explained what Earthspark is, it just went from there. But that part had a segue that said, but 40 years ago! And then we went into the part that felt like what you actually paid to watch, which was Episode 1 of The Transformers, More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, with a full cast re-recording. And that part was excellent. It was really fun. There was some preamble explaining what they were doing, showing everyone meeting up in a green room. During the episode, it was basically here's the episode, then here's a vertical shot. It was literally vertical phone style, but it made them fit together for a cinema screen of the actors, as all the SFX tracks and music tracks were the same, but they stripped out the voice track, and then you got to watch the actors doing their lines, and it was really cool. A bunch of G1 actors, couple of new folks to fill in, especially for folks who were deceased. Greg Berger was there filling in roles entirely because Grimlock's not in these episodes. Paul Eiding was there filling in roles entirely. It was really cool to see Frank Todaro up there because I know he's been in the fandom for ages and ages, and I got to imagine that it was a childhood dream-fulfilling moment to sit and do an 80s-style round-table read of a G1 episode with, Frank Welker and Peter Cullen and Michael Bell and all the rest. And he did a great job. That part was so fun. And I hope they put it up online. And I say this as someone who paid to see it, because I don't care. That was something that needs to be available. And when it goes up online, we need to rip it, so it doesn't become lost media, because it was legitimately amazing to watch. There were only two weird things. There was a Soundwave line that was just the 80s audio, and there was a jazz line that was just the 80s audio. And at first, it was Soundwave's second line, so I thought, oh, maybe Frank Welker did the Dr. Claw voice once and couldn't deal with it anymore. But no, then he kept doing it, so I think they just left two lines out of the script by accident. It was very odd, because they, Jazz says a lot in those episodes. I don't know why they left that out. I assume it was just a technical snafu, but it's kind of stuck out. The transfer was not remastered, and I believe, going by what they showed later, it was from the worst Rhino DVDs. But, when it's in, like, this crop down, like, here it is, and here's a bunch of 2024 actors doing their thing, like, it was fine. That part was so fun. And then afterwards, they had kind of a debrief, they showed some outtakes, and then they just started playing Transformers episodes. I've got the blurb down here, so it shouldn't have been a surprise to me. I bought my ticket like 2 days before this thing, because I kind of forgot it was happening, and I spent a while assuming it was the 86 movie, so I thought there'd be, like, some structure to this, but after episode 1 played, all structure fell apart, because after they showed some outtakes, the weird border was still there the whole time, so the episodes were all kind of weirdly cropped with, like, this generic current Hasbro Pulse style Teletran border around it. But no one ever spoke to the audience again, or said anything to indicate what was going on. So after all this sort of, handheld, walking you through what's up, really fun stuff, including a part where someone said, can we do it again? Can we do another one? And they start playing another episode, you think, oh, did they do another one? No. They just played More Than Meets the Eye Part 2, More Than Meets the Eye Part 3, and episode 4, the one afterwards, and I kind of don't remember a lot of it, because I fell asleep here and there, nodding off, because it was just someone left the disc on. It felt like somehow, I know this isn't how this works, but the feeling was that I was sitting in someone's living room, and they slid in a disc of Transformers, because they know I like it, and then left. And I was just sitting there like, what's going on? What do I do? And it was the bad Rhino transfers, as I remember them. It's the ones that have the really loud, modern sound effects here and there. Like when someone's hand slides in, there's this deafening, like scraping noise. I hated it. And there were a couple animation errors. There was a part where Megatron's eyes were missing, and you could see the background through them. So I think those were those Rhino transfers. So it was just like, just here, 3 more episodes of G1, and that's it. And, like, many millennials can attest to this. A lot of us, growing up, really just wanted to watch our cartoons. And when DVDs came out, we could finally sit down and watch an 80s cartoon, binge style. And most of us discovered that that those were never meant to be watched that way. And I think that this could reconfirm to me, I got maybe 4 episodes of an 80s cartoon in me, like this kind of 80s cartoon, and then I really am like, I can't wait to leave. So if you're going to see this thing, More Than Meets the Eye episode 1 is super worth it, but after that you can kind of get up and leave, because you've seen everything that you really paid for. There was no remastering done on, like, anything past that point. No visual remastering at all that I'm aware of. No audio remastering. It didn't really help the episodes, because they were now being shown on a massive Cineplex scene with this huge sound system, and it kind of didn't do a lot of favors to anything that wasn't Soundwave's voice. And then after all that, by the way, I think there's a clip going around, but also the credits started to get sped up so that the runtime would get lower, and I was so happy, because these were the DVD copies that have the commercial bumpers in, but there would be nothing. So it would be like, dun 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 dun, bumper, dun 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 dun, now return to, and it's like, by the time you see that 6 or 8 times, you're kind of like, stop. And so then after all these episodes are done, they just suddenly play a Bumblebee Don't Run Away From Home PSA. Felt like a DVD extra from the same disc. And then the audio cuts out. And then you see a very generic, semi-animated background you could get in, like, any kind of editing software. It says, In Memoriam. And then 6 dead voice actor names pop up with their roles. And then about 5 seconds later, the picture cuts out, and the lights in the theater are already on. It was incredibly awkward. Nobody in the theater seemed to know if they were supposed to get up, and then the first thing anyone said was like, well, that's a downer ending. And I'm kind of like, did they cut the audio out because they had G1 music playing there, and then maybe they felt like, oh, this is maybe on the comical end of disrespectful. Maybe, but, also imagine if they played the end credit music during an In Memoriam with 6 dead people's names. Like, that would have been memorable, I guess, but yeah, it just made, it kind of perfectly capped off how awkward this entire thing felt. So, if you're gonna go see it on the weekend, the re-recorded More Than Meets the Eye Part 1 is super fun, and well worth the experience. It's so well worth the experience side of the experience. If you're somewhere where, like, the ticket to see this was like 5 or 10 of your currency, then if I had spent money on my ticket, it would have been $17, and I think I would have been grumpy. because this felt like a YouTube video. The structure of this felt like a very awkward live stream mixed with someone leaving a DVD disc running whilst they left the room. And it also felt like, it kind of reminded me of those old Transformers convention screening room days, except since this was a public place full of people who paid money for their seats, I personally didn't feel really all that into the idea of, like, let's start heckling, let's start talking about Transformers. I mean, I went there by myself, but, like, some folks were chuckling at some of the goofier lines. By the way, More Than Meets the Eye, Part 2, 3, and Road whatever Destruction. I kind of forgot, like, how manic and deranged the pacing and the events of those episodes are, which, to some folks in the audience, and I kind of enjoyed this, it became very comical, like, just how wildly, like, thing happens, kind of awkward animation where, like, Rumble goes, like backhands Spike away from him or something. Like, there were some chuckles from folks in the top right area, and I wish they were laughing more, because it made me enjoy things more. Anyway, I'm making this sound like this was kind of bad, and it was, but the re-record was really good, and I want to really doubly state that, because in about a month, when this is all behind us, we all need to start very nicely and politely saying on social medias everywhere, hey, Hasbro, folks, you got to put that re-record up on your platforms, please. We all got to see it. Those of us who paid money for this event are happy for you to put it up there. Because we are, okay? It doesn't matter. There was no version of this that was worth $17, so just eat it. And we're okay with them putting it up on the internet, all right? All right. What would I rather have seen? So I'm trying to be realistic about this. Basically, given this the 40th anniversary and etc., and they had the setup already there, stretch out the session over the course of a week, or however much time you need for everyone to get rested up, and just redub More Than Meets the Eye Parts 1, 2, and 3, and make that what we watch. I think that's what should have been done. That would have been more expensive. Yes, I don't care. Y'all are a giant corporation who already paid to set up this recording, filming setup for these actors, so just do 3 episodes. It felt like wasted resources for 1 episode, and also it felt like a real awkward experience you could get up and leave halfway through, because it was just the 1 episode. So, there's a lot of language I don't like in criticism. They should've, cheap, blah blah blah. So I hope it means something when I say that they should've re-recorded and done this whole treatment for 3 episodes, and this entire experience felt cheap. It felt really hackneyed. And then, if I'm going to get a little bit less realistic, if y'all can't do this re-record thing, like, at least find better masters. At least spend a couple $1,000 to clean up the masters on 3 or 4 episodes. Anything, something to make this feel like it's an experience. Anyway, so if you're gonna go see this on the weekend and you've already got your ticket and you're kind of tired of just watching straight G1, you can get up and leave after the re-record part is done. In fact, here's something else. Even if you don't want to do the re-record, and have people use their skill that they should be paid for, if you're gonna play just 3 more episodes of G1 that I can watch anywhere, like, have a couple of the actors who want to stick around and do this stick around and just, like, talk through, like, maybe not even a commentary, but just, like, I don't care if they talk over it. I can watch these anywhere. Like, have even just, like, 1 or 2 folks who are really eager, just chill out and go, like, hey, we're gonna be here with you guys while we watch this, and we're just gonna reminisce. Even if it's kind of corny, at least it's something more than running a disc and leaving the room, So there are a lot of ways this could have been improved. There's lots of ways they can, pick things up for the 40th anniversary of the 86 movie in 2 years. That's happened. Just so you all know, that is how old the 86 movie is. It's 38 years old. I like to drop a little bit of existentialism on y'all. Anyway, that was my time there. I had a good enough time. I probably should have left halfway through because I was kind of bored. Because I have seen a lot of these enough times to no longer really process what's happening. Yeah, the re-record was really good, and they need to put that out for everyone to see without having to go to one of these experience things. And I kind of get the feeling they're gonna, but if they don't, in the next, like, month or two, we gotta start politely and friendlily asking them to do that because I don't know, like I think that my pal Frank Totoro should have his moment there for everyone to see and enjoy. Anyway, that's all I really got to share. I hope this didn't come off like endlessly negative, but I felt like I should share the experience because I make YouTube videos, and also, I don't know, maybe one or two other people out there were expecting more from this the way I kind of was. Have a good time if you're going, and if you're in, like, the magic United States where you can get the fancy pants popcorn bucket, I resent you.